So we are doing Hanuman Chalisa verse by verse, word by word, understanding the meaning of each word, its Vedantic significance, and also application in our day-to-day life. So let us prepare ourselves by sitting straight, head, neck, backbone straight. Let us take a deep, slow, conscious breath. Every day for some time we must observe our breath. Observing our own breath, observing our own mind, observing our own thoughts. A very important practice. जो देखता है वो छूटता है, जो भोगता है वो अटकता है. भोगता है मीन्स जो रिएक्ट करता है. One who reacts to stimuli gets bound by its reaction, because reaction means one vasana is created. Let us withdraw our mind from all that has happened in the past. And especially today's verse, we will see जो कोई मनोरथ, whatever manorath we are going to have, that will be fulfilled by Hanumanji, but we have to be careful what we are wishing, what we are desiring. Let us withdraw our mind from all future imaginations, present tensions, confusions. This moment we have no problem. All problems are in the past or future. So, still body, cheerful mind, clear intellect. When we maintain for some time, we can immediately experience the peace. Bible says the peace that passeth all understanding. This peace is beyond understanding. It is not a product or effect of some cause. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Shantichi pai shanti. So there is this peace, what we are, our nature is, we have to experience. Let us invoke God's grace, Guru Parampara's blessing, Sita Mata, Sri Ramji's blessings, Hanumanji's Ashirwad, and chant loudly together. Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं दनुजवनकृशानं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। हरि ओम।
Hari Om. Thank you, Manisha. Hari Om to all. So we are doing Hanuman Chalisa, verse by verse, word by word. And today we are on the 30th Chaupahi. So suppose we actually study properly any prayer or any stotra, we will see that there are two things normally there. Rudram, Chamakam, Ram Raksha Stotra, Ganpati Atharva Shirsha. One first aspect is the glorification, stuti of Bhagwan. And second aspect is Phalashruti, what we will get. This is the pattern in all chantings, what we do. So we can see here, today also we are going to see the last 10 verses. There are a lot of things mentioned, what we can get. But we must know what to ask also. Because that is a very important intelligence, what to ask. If suddenly Bhagwan comes before us, what to ask. And we think that Bhagwan will always come in Vishnu avatar, Shankha, Chakra, Gada. Bhagwan can come in any avatar. Today we'll see some stories. Because Bhagwan can take any roop. So we will see the 30th verse. Sorry, 28th verse. 28th Chaupahi. और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे. So, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे. And this is the result of what? Whatever manorath we will bring in our mind, those will be fulfilled and life will be having its completion. So, in between one session, Shardananji took on our Indian Indic knowledge system. So, there he mentioned that why do we get married? Why do we do everything? For Purnatva. Because we are feeling that Apurnatva, then we do a lot of things. So our goal is Purnatva. Soi Amita Jivana Phala Pave. And this is the result of chanting Hanuman Chalisa. They say that suppose I sincerely chant Hanuman Chalisa with a particular Manoratha in our mind, normally it is fulfilled. Result of japa and chanting. Soi Amita Jivana Phala Pave. That is, life fulfillment will happen. Jo koi lave, without any discrimination of caste, creed, etc. So Hanuman Chalisa can be chanted by anyone, whether I believe or not, whether I am Hindu or Muslim or anyone. Jo koi lave, whoever chants Hanuman Chalisa, with the understanding, with that faith, with that love, with that devotion. And then, or manoratha jo koi lave. Manoratha, desires in mind with faith on Lord and sincerity in action. Bhagavan says at least you have to do some action. You must have some faith. And then I will do my job. But suppose you are not doing any action sincerely, your faith is, shaking. Like we know so many stories that one place it was not raining. So they prayed. They did lot of yajnas. They did lot of rituals. And then the priest told tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock it will rain. So the entire village went up the hill to welcome the rain. Only one boy took the umbrella because he told, I really feel that it will rain. Other people wanted to just check whether, it is going to rain or no. So there is doubt, there is curiosity. One boy had complete faith that it is going to rain heavily. And also I must do my action sincerely. We also know that one person was a Lord devotee, and his manorath was that I should get a lottery. 1 crore lottery I want. 20 years passed, then he chanted this. And it was told that or manorath jo koi lave, so hi amita jivan phal pave. And he chanted for 40 days, 400 days, no lottery. One day he got so angry on the Lord that I am been chanting for so long, you're not fulfilling me any wish, and you're telling or manoratha jo koi lave. So Bhagavan appeared before him. He told, at least take lottery ticket. That is your action. That is your duty. At least lottery ticket to jaake buy karo. How will I give you lottery? So what Bhagavan is mentioning is that not only faith, whatever is my duty, if I do, have faith, have devotion. Bhagavan says, I will be doing the fulfillment for you. And where do the desires comes in the mind? And how is the mind chanchal? One thought will come. No, but I should go there. No, whether I will get the bus, whether this will happen, that will happen. So many thoughts come in our mind. You can see, I should sometime observe my own thoughts. Even from one place to another place, we have to go. 100 thoughts will come. No, I will not be able to chant. I will not be able to go. I will not get rickshaw. If this happens, that happens. If that happens, if there's a... So, chanchala hi mana, Krishna Bhagavan says, it is chanchala. Mind does not listen to oneself. Mind expands and contracts. It expands with anger and contracts with sadness. Mind goes out through the senses and comes back. The mind will go out through the senses and it will go in all objects here and there. One saint says that my mind is like a pig. It will go to all objects in the dustbin and it will become dirty. It will become tired. It will become frustrated. It will become irritated, and then it comes back to me. Very beautiful description of mind. One's own mind the saint is describing. And where does the mind? The mind is with me. Guruji says that my mind must be with me, but my mind is not there with me. It is with my mobile phone. Then it is in Iran. Then it sometimes goes to Israel. Then it sometimes goes to Trump. Then it sometimes goes to America. Then sometimes it goes to children. Then sometimes it goes to grandchildren. Sometimes it goes to neighbor. And then sometimes in between, some Sunday and Monday, it is with Hanumanji. It is with Mahabharata. It is with Bhagavad Gita. And then the mind gets so tired, and then it comes back to me, and then I say, no, I don't have any energy. I am very busy. I don't have time. So all this is mind only. So where does the mind go? It goes out from the senses, and it comes back from the senses, and it settles down. So what is mind? Flow of thought. What is a thought? Object. Consciousness plus object is equal to thought. So thought minus object is pure consciousness. As simple as that. Enlightenment, moksha is what? Thought minus object. Objectless awareness is freedom, is enlightenment, is moksha. Objectless awareness. No object. No idam, only aham. Aham brahmasmi. So, Bhagavan is saying is that you decide today what is your bucket list at this age. Write it down. Very important is writing it down and visualizing. What do I want? The most difficult thing in life is that what do I want? No, I want Ishwar Darshan. Okay, you want moksha? You want Ishwar Darshan or you want Atma Darshan? Then I don't know. I have to think. Okay, you want Ishwar Darshan, then which Ishwar you want? That also I'm not very clear whether I want Sri Ramji's Darshan or Sri Krishna Darshan or Vishnu Darshan, Shiv Devi Darshan. Whose darshan I want? Okay, in what form I want darshan? Whether you want Krishna in small swaroop or you want Radha Krishna, I must be clear about it. So, or manoratha jo koi lave, whatever manorath I will bring clearly in my mind. The important word is clearly, so I have to write it down what I want. I want this. I want Atma Darshan. I want Ishwara Darshan. Isha Darshanam Swatmarupatah. So when I know myself, I know God. When I know God, I know myself. Both are same. So जो और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, and Hanuman ji will fulfill all our manorath. So God fulfills our desires in following ways. Number one, suppose I say, Bhagwan, I have this desire. Bhagwan will say, no, I am not going to give you. I will never give you this, because like a mother telling a small child, I will not give you this phenyl bottle if the child is crawling and wants that phenyl bottle. Because the mother knows that it is harmful for the child. Then sometimes, suppose I have a desire for something, Bhagwan will say, okay, wait, I will give you, not now, later. Like sometimes when the child asks, mother, I want to have ice cream, the mother will say, no, not right now. Tomorrow is your exam and your throat is not good. I will give ice cream to you after your exam is over. And the third way, Bhagwan fulfills our desire. Immediately, Bhagwan will give us. If you want this, take it. But we really do not know whether that fulfilling desire is good for us or not good for us. So it's best to pray that Bhagwan, whatever you desire for me, that you give me. With japa and chanting, when japa and chanting becomes pointed, pure and noble, all wishes are fulfilled. Actually, what happens is that no wish remains. Kabir Das ji says, चाह गई चिंता मिटी, मनवा बेपरवा जिनको कछु न चाहिए वही शहनशाह. Anytime I have fear, frustration, irritation, restlessness, worry, that means I have a desire. And not only I have a desire, I do not have faith that Bhagwan will fulfill it. Otherwise, where the worry will be there? And our goal is to have Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan. Going beyond all desires. And how is it possible? By continuous japa and chanting. So what is in our hand? We must keep continuously chanting. Doing japa. Every day I will chant once. I must chant that time. That way, with understanding. And then leave up to God. Bhagwan, if you want, you will fulfill. We saw 3 ways. Bhagwan fulfills our desire, which is good for us. चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा. 29th चौपाई. चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा. So now here it is mentioned that charo yuga par tap tumhara. But how come char yuga? Hanumanji was there in Treta Yuga with Ramji. He was not there in Satya Yuga. How can you say char yuga? Okay, he was in Dwapar Yuga on the flag. And right now in Kali Yuga, maximum temples are of Hanumanji. So he is there. He is Chiranjeevi. But because he is Chiranjeevi, he is there in all yugas, no? That is one meaning. Second meaning, the wind is there in all places all the time. He is Pavan Putra Hanuman. So that way we can explain this verse, Charo Juga Par Tap Tumhara. Your glory shines through all 4 ages, 4 yugas, because Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi. In Satya Yuga, a symbol of strength and devotion. Because Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi, and in Satya Yuga, the fight is between Devalok and Asurlok. In Treta Yuga, greatest devotee of Sri Ram, and the fight is between Ayodhya and Lanka, 2 countries. In Dwapar Yuga, present on Arjuna's flag, and the fight is between Pandavas and Kauravas, between 2 cousins. And in Kali Yuga, most accessible deity for protection. I have to just take Nama and Hanumanji will fulfill the desire. That is the power of Kali Yuga. So easy. Just keep chanting the name and the desire will be fulfilled. So, when we see actually the ages, human age, they say that as the Kali Yuga will progress, the human life will come to 50. 40, 50 will be the maximum age of human life. Dharma will take backseat, and what will become powerful is unity, not truth. So those are described in Bhagavad by Ved Vyasji. And what is the solution? Very simple solution in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is not bad. In all yugas, wars happened. So don't say, no, so many wars are happening right now. Iran and Israel are fighting. Ukraine and Russia are fighting. There is another Venezuela, this is fighting. Those are fighting. Pakistan is fighting. In all yugas, wars were happening. But here in Kali Yuga, the best solution to fulfillment of our life is Naam. Name is very, very important. So your frame illumines the entire world. Hai parasiddha Jagata Ujiyara. Jagata Ujiyara means Hanuman represents inner illumination. How he removes ignorance, fear and weakness. Hai parasiddha Jagata Ujiyara. Jagat means not outside Jagat, inside Jagat, because we are bound by our own ignorance. We are bound by our own avidya, we are bound by our own limitations, we are bound by our own bhaya, krodha, moha, mada, matsara. So, charo juga par tap tumhara hai par siddha. And his name is Siddha because so many people have taken the name and have become Siddha. Siddha Purush, enlightened person. So there is a person who is sadhak, one who seeks, seeker is a sadhak. Then sadhak has a sadhya, goal. And when the sadhak does sadhana for the sadhya, that sadhak is called as siddha. So there are four words, very important, which are all there in Bhagavad Gita. Another way of explaining Bhagavad Gita is, what is there in Bhagavad Gita? Sadhak qualifications. Sadhana, what kind of sadhana is to be done? Sitaprajna Lakshan is the Siddha Lakshan. And what is the goal of life? So, sadhak, sadhana, sadhya, and siddha, hai para siddha, jagata ujiyara. So, this name is 100% will take us to siddhi, siddha. Siddha means completeness, purna. Like Ramdas Swami took this name 13 crore times. Sri Ram, Jai Jai. 13 crore times he was chanting Gayatri mantra. And it is called as Purasharan. Whatever japa I am doing, how many akshara are there in that? So suppose it is Om Namah Shivaya. So how many Om Namah Shivaya? Suppose we remove Om, then 5 Namah Shivaya. So I have to do minimum 5 malas. Minimal. So Hanuman represents inner illumination, means he removes inner ignorance, fear, weakness. And our inner world illumines. Because right now my inner world is dark. Dark with what? Because of the limitations of that I am this body, mind, intellect. That creates the limitation. That creates the darkness. So now we come to very, very interesting verse. Chaupai. Sadhu santake tumar akhware. Asura nikandana Rama dulare. So as Bhagwan also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam praja paritranaya sadhunam. So I will do raksha of sadhu. And here also, here it is mentioned, sadhu santake tumar akhware. That means Bhagwan will not take care of me. Yes, Bhagwan will take care of me, but if I am a sadhu, sadhu is not one who wears only orange robes or one who wears only white robes. Sadhu is a quality of the mind. So who is a sadhu? So we must strive to become a sadhu. If we want Bhagwan to fulfill our wishes and take care of us, yoga kshemam vahamyam. So you are the protector of saints and those who are righteousness you will establish. And you are the destroyer of demons and beloved of Sri Ram. That is also another question, that I love God, but whom does God love? So with knowledge, strength, power, one should know what to protect and what to destroy. What to keep in our mind and what to remove from our mind, what to destroy from our mind. So with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, with this knowledge of Hanuman Chalisa, with this Nama Japa of Hanuman Chalisa, I will slowly start getting the strength. And with that strength, slowly, I must be able to know what to destroy, what to protect. Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti must be protected. And Bhagavan says, sometimes I don't give you many things outside which you are comparing, but I am protecting your Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti that you are not understanding. And whom do I protect? I protect a sadhu. Who is a sadhu? Literal meaning of sadhu is innocent. One who is saral. One who is pure. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that this Vishwaroop, this Vibhuti Darshan, I didn't give to any Deva Devatas. Many Rishi Munis also I have not given. Many yogis I have not given. Many knowledgeable people I have not given. But because you are anagha, out of my grace, love, I gave you this. So when our knowledge increases in Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, sometimes, people get very arrogant that I know so much. I know entire Vedanta now, only few texts I have to learn, otherwise all texts I have learned. But when we interact with them, we don't find they are pure-hearted. Anagha. Anagha is pure-hearted. So there was a boy in one town. His heart was pure. And he started growing up in a nice family. The only one habit he had, and one habit was of eating. He used to eat a lot. And the parents were fed up because he used to eat 8 to 10 chapatis at one time, 15 chapatis, and so much of rice, sambar, bhat, sabji. When the boy became around 12, 13, his parents got fed up. So much he is eating. They told what to do with this boy. Otherwise, the boy is very pure-hearted, very nice. They told, it's best thing we'll keep him in some ashram. Any ashram is big. There he will be fed. So they were started searching and they told, okay, one ashram they went and can you keep this boy? And the in charge there, the main sadhu there told, yes, we'll keep him. A young boy. And the boy was so nice. The head of that ashram liked the boy very much. And then slowly, everyone realized that he is such a nice, pure-hearted boy. Only one habit he had, eating. So after 15 days, Ekadashi came. And then this boy went to kitchen and said, no food. And he went to people in the kitchen. He said, today is Ekadashi. Nothing is cooked here. He told, nothing is cooked means what will I get to eat? Then he went to the head. He told, no, I cannot stay like this. I need some kind of food, So the head of the ashram told, no, here we cannot cook because it is a parampara niyam. You cannot cook here in the ashram. But what I do, because you are a young boy and I like you very much, what you do is you take, little rice, little wheat flour, little water, little jaggery, little salt, and you go outside. There's a nice river. Under a tree, you cook yourself and eat. The boy felt so good. Okay, I will do it. Then he told the kitchen in charge, okay, give him whatever is necessary. The kitchen in charge gave him, nice aloo, some kind of sabji and all whatever required for one person. The boy took, he went to the riverside and sat. Before going there, the head of the ashram told only one thing. That you cook everything, but before eating, you have to, show Naivedya to Lord Ram and then eat. He told, the boy told, yeah, that I will do. And he went and then he cooked everything. And then before eating, he remembered, he closed his eyes and then, oh, Bhagwan Ram, please come and have. No, Bhagwan Ram is not coming. Then he again sat for 1 hour, half an hour, 2 hours. Bhagwan Ram is not coming. He told, what is this, Bhagwan? I am very hungry. You have to come and eat. Then only I can eat because that is my Guru's order. I am giving you 15 minutes, you come. And the boy closed his eyes, again showed the Naivedya and requested Bhagwan, Bhagwan, come and have so that I can have balanced food. And after he opened his eyes, he saw Bhagwan Ram is there, but along with Bhagwan Ram, there is another person. He told, my Guru told only you will come. Who is there this with you? He told, no, no, she is my wife, Sita. We always go together. So then he couldn't say anything. Then the food which was made for one person, both of them ate. He had nothing. He came back. Another after 15 days, again Ekadashi came. He didn't tell anybody this. Then he went to kitchen and told, I want 3 people's food. Then the Guru thought that, maybe he's very hungry, his interest is only food. Please give him. So they give him 3 people's food. The boy went dancing and prepared the entire food there. And then again, Naivedya, oh Bhagwan Ram, please come. Within 15 minutes, Bhagwan Ram came, but this time he came with Lakshmanji, Bharatji, Shatrughnji. Oh, Bhagwan, last time you came 2, now you are coming 5. I have cooked for only 3 people. What is this? Bhagwan told, I don't know, you called, I came. Normally I come with the entire my family. This is my family. Who is this? This is Bharatji, Shatrughnji. So then they all ate everything, and when this boy again had Ekadashi, no food, again he came back, again after 15 days. Then he complained to his Guru, Bhagwan, Guru, I think you have to give me 7 people's food. Because whenever I call Ramji, he gets some other guest only. Sometimes one lady comes and his brother comes, and I don't know who will come now. And now his Guru thought, what is this? This boy is asking for 7 people's food. And then he thought, okay, I will check what is happening. So he told the kitchen in charge, okay, give him 8 people food. And then boy took the 8 people food, 2 gones, all this potato, sabji and rice and jaggery and namak and all. He went and he cooked. And before cooking, he started cleaning. And then he got an idea that I will not cook for so many people. He closed his eyes and invited Sri Ramji. He, Bhagwan, now there are so many people, you are coming. You only come and cook. I cannot cook for 7, 8 people. And Bhagwan Ramji came with Sita ji, Lakshman ji, Bharat ji, Shatrughna, Hanuman ji. And the boy started ordering, okay, Hanuman ji, get the sticks. Sita ji, please, cut this vegetable. Shatrughna, you do this. And everybody started cooking. And the head of the ashram, the Guru was watching him from behind and he was only hearing these dialogues. He was not able to see Ramji and Sita ji and all. And there he saw all the food is cooked. And then his Guru came forward, whom are you talking to and who did this all cooking? He told, yeah, this Ramji is there, Sita ji is there. See, Lakshman ji, Bharat ji, I told you whenever I call Ramji, he comes with the entire family. Tomorrow, then he told, I am coming with Darbar. And now Hanuman ji is also come. The Guru told, I cannot see anyone. And the boy told Sri Ramji, Bhagwan, he is my Guru. So prove me right. Otherwise, he will think only I am eating everything. You please give him darshan. And then Bhagwan Ram gave darshan to his Guru. And then Guru prostrated and told, Bhagwan, I am doing your upasana for last 35 years. I know all scriptures by heart. I chant every day. But you gave darshan to this boy who doesn't know any scriptures. He told, yes, because I love people whose heart is pure. Because sometimes the knowledge makes the heart and the head, very arrogant that I know everything. This boy is so pure-hearted. When you told that Naivedya has to be shown to me and I have to eat first. He really waited for 2 hours because he really believed that I will come and eat. But every day you show Naivedya and then you show Naivedya, Om Pranaya Swa, Apanaya Swa, and then you only eat. So, who is a sadhu? Very, very important. Not one who is always in some robes and chanting, one who is pure hearted. I like that word in Bhagavad Gita called as anagha, pure hearted. Another definition of sadhu, what Guruji gives is one who does not get disturbed by situation, objects, people is a sadhu. Very important description. And one who does not disturb others also. No, no. First, I can understand that I will not get disturbed by any person, object, and situation. But how do I know that I am not disturbing others? That is very difficult, no? Because I can say something very nice also, and one can just disturb. But one says that yes, that is right. But if you do not have dvesh, adveshta sarva bhutanam, maitra karuna evacha. So one who does not have any dvesh in one's mind towards any object, situation, person, he is a sadhu or she is a sadhu. That person I bless. That person is dear to me. That person I love the most. That person I show my swarup. That person I give him Atmat Jnana also. So God protects devotees, God protects truth seekers, God protects those who are walking on the path of dharma, but they have this faith and then saralta in the mind, no doubt. And then God kills asuras. Asura Nikandana Rama Dulare. So God does two things when Bhagwan comes here. Either he kills the arrogance, ego from us, or he kills the person only like Duryodhan or Ravan or Hiranyakashipu. Or sometimes Bhagwan doesn't have to kill. Bhagwan says, this person is good. I will only kill the ego in him. I will only kill the arrogance in this person. So God kills what? Asura Nikandana. Asura Nikandanas, who are Asur, who are sitting inside ego, arrogance, injustice, fear, laziness, tamas. These are the Asuras inside. So when we chant Hanuman Chalisa, there are so many Asuras are getting killed inside. Who is dear to God? One who loves with selfishness, without selfishness, one who serves without pride, one who trusts without fear, and remembers the Lord in all situations. So we'll just take one small story about whom does the God love on sadhu, because this is one of my favorite topic. There are so many stories, and this story is a real life story. So in Vrindavan, we all know there is Vrindavan. There used to be one person coming and prostrating and never used to say anything. So some people asked, and they used to call these people as, the known people used to call this person as judge. So he used to come in white robes and pray to God quietly and go back. So one person asked that when this person come, why are you calling him judge, judge, judge? He should be called as some sadhu, santa. Then his friends told us, you come here, we'll have a cup of tea and we will tell you the story. This person is actually a judge only. He was a judge. It's a real life story. Huh? It happened few years back, maybe few decades back. So this person was a judge and he used to give judgment. And one day in his court, one case came where there was a poor person. His name was Kevat. This Kevat had one daughter, one son. So when his daughter's marriage came, the son and they decide that they will take money from some saukar because they were staying in a village. So the kevat went to the saukar and then, I want how many rupees? 200 rupees. So saukar gave 200 rupees, wrote, took in writing and kept that paper. The marriage happened, the son also, started prospering. Then kevat told that now you are married, daughter is married, I will live in Raghunath temple. So there is a small temple of Ramji which is called as Raghunath temple. So he started living there, and whatever people used to say, it is Raghunath's wish. So after a year, the boy collected money, extra money, and gave, take this 200 rupees and give it to saukar, and then our money is cleared. So the kevat goes to saukar and gives him 200 rupees, and saukar says that, okay, this is a paper, your money is returned. What will you do now? He told, I don't know anything, Raghunath jane, Raghunath wish. And the saukar told he is a very illiterate person, cannot read anything. So he told, okay, can you get me that, some fruits which are kept outside. When he went outside for picking up those fruits, saukar changed the paper. He wrote something else and gave the paper to him. And when he came back, his son saw the money is not returned there. And then saukar went to the court and said that he is not returned the money. So this kevat started crying. He went to the temple. He was staying in the temple only. He said, I don't know anything. Only Raghunath ji knows. So this case is a real case. In one of the south villages this happened. And then this case came, and then judge asked this kevat in the court that when this money you returned and the saukar gave you this paper, was there any witness who saw it? He told, I don't know anything, Raghunath ji, because he knows only one thing. And the saukar told that Raghunath ji is some person in the village. And kevat started crying. And the judge felt that this man is actually right. Saukar he didn't trust, but then there is no proof. So the judge was kind-hearted. He took out one summons. And that summons was given to his court chaprasi. So I hope all of you know what is a summons. If you don't know, you can ask a lawyer what is a summons. And the chaprasi took the summons next day and then went into the village. Who is Raghunath ji? There is no person in that village who is Raghunath ji. So he was tired. He was going out. He was going back. And somebody told there is one Raghunath Mandir here. So he went to that temple and then Pujari was chanting there. So the chaprasi of the court asked, where is Raghunath ji? The Pujari told, hey, Raghunath ji is inside. The chaprasi thought there is some person inside. So he gave that summons to the Pujari. And the chaprasi told, give it to Raghunath ji. So Pujari thought it is for Raghunath ji because for Raghunath ji people give pedas, people give vastra, people bring lot of things for Raghunath ji. So he kept that summons paper before Raghunath ji's statue. And the judge told the date will be next month. Next hearing will be next month. And he told if witness doesn't come, because that is the only proof. So that day happened and then the judge called Raghunath ji Hajir ho. The kevat told, I don't know who is Raghunath. And then from one corner, one old person came with one stick. He came in the court, stood there in the witness box. And judge asked him, yeah, you were the witness? He told, I was the witness. This Kevat gave these 200 rupees to the Saukar, and Saukar changed the paper. I saw it. And earlier he had written something on that paper that he has given this 200 rupees. Then he changed his mind. And then Saukar also came to know that he exactly saw what happened. And Saukar accepted. And this Kevat was released. But the point is not that. Then the judge closed the case, and then again he inquired that who is this Raghunath ji, and in pure soul Bhagwan can come. One Prahlad ji Bhagwan
No,
can.
you were disconnected for some time.
For one person, Bhagwan can take avatar. Not yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When there is a lot of sin will happen, Bhagwan will take avatar. No, for one innocent person, Bhagwan came into the witness box. तो साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन Ram Dulane. So these people are God's favorite. These pure-hearted people are people God love. So last time I had mentioned, it is very easily God gives mukti to people. मुक्ति तो भगवान बैठे हुए हैं, हाँ चाहिए मुक्ति, ले लो ले लो ले लो. Bhakti God doesn't give so easily. Doesn't come so easily. Mukti people, God gives, yes, I will give a lot of people mukti. Bhakti I will give to very few people. So now today Vatsala Amma is going to chant Hanuman Chalisa. Along with her we will chant. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.